All right, guys. So we have knocked out two of the requirements. We've already selected. We've masked. The next thing that we're going to do is blend modes. Okay. So, so I have this image. We've already selected out and masked out this cute puppy. Um, so what we're going to do next is we're going to uh, bring in a background or an image that we want to use as a background. Let's say that I'm not quite sure what image that's gonna be. Or we can make our own background as well. So let's see, fireworks background. Let's see how we like this. I mean, we could do fireworks. Why not? You know what? Let's do fireworks. All right. So we have this fireworks background. I'm going to make this a little bit smaller so that I can grab and see what happens to the entire image. So I'm going to hold Command or Control minus minus, and I'm just going to let me make center this real quick. Okay. And I'm going to, and all I did was move it to the center. I knew it was centered because it's showing me these purple guides that show me exactly when it's centered. Um, and if you want to see what they are, if I move, see how I move it, and it's showing the vertical center right now to tell me it's vertically centered. If I move it up a little bit, I'll eventually get the purple guide telling me, oh, it's horizontally centered too. And I'm like, yes. All right. So with this center, what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold down Option and Shift. What these two are going to do, Option is going to allow it to expand out from the center. The Shift is going to allow it to constrain. Now, it depends on the version of Photoshop you have. If you have an older version, like maybe a year or two ago, when you hold Shift, uh, it's gonna stretch it out. You'll know like way too much. It's gonna skew it. You'll know if it's doing it because you'll be like, oh, why does it look like that? That would be why. All right, so whenever I'm holding modifier keys and Option and Shift is the modifier key, I make sure I let go of the mouse first. Always let go of the mouse first. Let me say that again. So whenever I'm working with modifier keys, right now we're working with Alt or Option and Shift. We want to make sure that we let go of the mouse first when we're happy. Trust me when I tell you, if you don't let go of the mouse first and you let go of the keys first, it's gonna ignore that you wanted it to constrain, and it's gonna ignore that you wanted it to draw from the center. Okay, so always let go of the mouse first. Once you let go of the mouse, then you can let go of your modifier keys, and everything will be like you like it. So I'm gonna hit return. All right, and so notice now we cannot see our doggy, right? And if we look over at our layers panel, it's because this image is on top of our doggy layer. Remember, Photoshop works in layers. However, I'm going to keep it here for a moment because we want to work on blend modes, and I want you to see the interaction of the blend modes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over here to my layers panel, and I'm going to go, and you're going to see right below layers is the word kind, and that just means what kind of filtering are you looking for, and things like that. So, or are you searching for, sorry, what type kind of thing are you searching for? We're not searching for anything. We're going to go down where it says normal. And what we're going to do is click on that drop down arrow. And all you need to do at this point is hover over a different blend mode. Like right now, you see dark and you see multiply. You see color burn, where it's burning that color into that image of the dog. You see linear burn, darker color, lighten, where it just lightened that blend mode into the image behind. So the way that blend modes work is blend modes work on the image that it's on and all layers beneath it. So right now, really what's just beneath it is that white background and the doggy in the teacup, right? So it's blending those fireworks in with this image, and it does a lot of math to do that. There's a lot of math behind this involved, the mathematical computations that it does. It's magic, but that's what it's doing. So if I go to screen, it's just a little bit lighter, and it really is playing with lights and luminance and color values and all of that awesomeness to create these effects. There's linear dodge. There's lighter color, which I actually like. That might be the one I go for. Overlay is usually my favorite, but not in this one. Hard light, and I always play with blend modes because I always want to see what it's gonna do. This one's giving an interesting effect: vivid light, linear light, pen light, hard mix, and we'll go down to difference. Difference is actually kind of interesting. I never use this one, but it's interesting. Exclusion, subtract. Let me see, difference. Let me look at subtract. Oh, I think I like subtract. And I never like subtract. And then divide. But as you can see, you can get some really, really cool, interesting effects. Here's hue, here's saturation, here's color, here's luminosity. I think I actually like subtract on this one. I do. Okay. So if I wanted to do subtract, I could. Look how cool that is. And so we just worked with blend modes, and it will work with several blend modes. If you look at the video of the entire project where I actually create a project, you will see that you can work with multiple images. So another thing that I want to do, since we already talked about masking, here's another way that we can work with masking. Let's say you love this, but you didn't want his little face. I'm just hitting Control or Command plus plus so that I can make it larger. Let's say you didn't want the fireworks in his face, right? Well, what do? We can mask it. So what we're going to do is on the fireworks layer, you want to make sure that the mask is on the layer that you want to mask. So on this fireworks layer, we can click on the mask and nothing, it looks like nothing happened because it didn't, because we haven't done anything yet, but we have this mask here. Do you see that? That white mask that shows up. Anytime you have a white mask and you want to remove something, then you want to paint with the opposite color, right? So it's a white mask, so we'll want to paint with black to paint something away. So I'm going to click on the brush tool, making sure I'm on the mask. And the way that you know that your mask is selected or highlighted is you'll see these white kind of outlines around it. And so that tells you, like if I click on the photo, now the white outlines move to the photo. But I want to make sure that the mask is what is selected. I also am going to take the time to show you something else, since this is driving me. Let me see. At the moment, my menus are small, and I thought I made them larger. I'm not quite sure why they are so small right now. Hang on. Okay. So if I go to this little, it's a little, it stands for menu. It's over on the right in the layers panel. And it's a hamburger menu. And it's just these lines. It's like 4 lines. Click on that. And then you can go to panel options. And the reason I'm doing this is because I want to make my panel options larger so that you can see them on the video, which I did before. I'm not quite sure. But anyway, you'll get these layer panel options. Right now it's set to small. I can set it to medium, or I can set it to large. I think for the video, I'm going to go with large. I've regretted this before, but we'll see how it goes. I'm going to hit OK. There we go. So now it's much bigger. And you guys can see the thumbnails that I'm talking about. So I just made mine larger so that you can see these outlines over here. So I'm making sure I have the mask selected. Again, if I have these white outlines move around the image, then the image is selected. But I want to paint with the mask. So make sure the mask is selected. And then we're going to get our brush tool. And then we're going to make sure that black, because right now the mask is white, we want to make sure we're painting with black. And what I can do is I can use my left and right bracket keys. Remember, those are the ones that are right next to the P key. Let me make it larger. And now I'm going to paint. So see how now I'm painting away. And it's painting away some of the effect, and it's okay. I'm going to paint away some of this. Now, if I feel like it's too strong, I'm going to hit Control Z real quick, or Command Z. And I can change the opacity, and I can also change the flow. So if I felt it was too strong, maybe I can change the flow to 50%. And then maybe I can change the opacity to 50%. Okay, so now, and remember it's context sensitive, so that's why I have those options up here of opacity and flow. So now when I remove it, it's not so bold. You can still see some through, but maybe I just wanted to cut away for it for a little bit. But that's not what I want to do. I actually, let me see. So what I did was I took away the opacity, and I still kept the flow at 50%. Let me see what this looks like. And I just want to get rid of some of these that are just all on his face. My poor puppy. And then I'm just painting it away. And if you look at the layers panel, you're going to notice the mask that's on there that's showing up. Okay, and I'm just painting away these areas. I didn't want the fireworks on my pup. That one by his mouth I'm okay with. But you see how you do some really, really cool stuff with this. Like really cool damage. I'm gonna take it away too. Like this. And there we go. And I am trying not to zoom in because typically I am a really this is like my thing, so I want to make sure it's perfect. But it doesn't have to be perfect today because you guys are learning. So I'm gonna. And so if I want to bring his paw out, I can, or if I want to, if I don't mind the fireworks going over his paw. Let me get this one. Thought I wanted 50%, but I don't think I do anymore. All right. There you go. Right, so looks like he had a star tattoo right there. Okay, I think I feel better now that the doggy's face and his arms are free. All right, so that is how we would mask him out if we wanted to mask him out. If we wanted to mask his face out individually for this. You could also change the, like I said, opacity in this area and paint with that. If you wanted to make a selection around that area, if you go to the mask, remember where we masked out the teacup in the first place? And if you hold down Command or Control on your keyboard, it's going to show you a hand with the selection outline, the dotted lines. You can click on that and it will select this teacup. So now if I go in here, making sure I'm on this mask that I was first on the first layer, and I get a larger brush, and maybe I'll change the flow back to 50%, 50-ish percent. Maybe I'll change the opacity to say 72%. Now I can paint out some of this area down here. I'm making my brush super big because I don't have to worry about it because it's constrained, right? Because I did that copy. And now I can paint out some of this. It's not all of it, but some of it. And I'm doing it at a 51% flow and a 72% opacity. So that's why we still see a lot of the fireworks kind of in the background. There we go. There we go. So if I wanted to do something like that, I could. But the bottom line is play, right? Make sure you're playing because this is where you have the opportunity to do that. As you get further and further, your time to play might be less and less. So just play and see what you like. See if these blend modes work for you. See if these selections work for you. See if the masks work for you. And meanwhile, while you're saying that, I'm going to see you guys in the next video. Ta-ta for now.